Nah, guys, I'm tired of flexing for you. I mean, if you want to go work out and get your game up and have biceps like mine, by all means, go to uh, and get that done. It's mind over mentality. If that's the body you want, you got to go get. But just for you guys, I will do it once more. There you go. Are you happy? Anyways, what's up, bros and hoes, or whatever floats your goat? It's your boy Relentless, and today I'm bringing you yet another division build video. Um, Out of all the content creators I've seen on the Tubosphere, as I call it, I haven't seen necessarily one, and it is the Banshee. The Banshee is more or less, I think, on the sleeper side of things when it comes to other builds. Yes, it's not really viable in playing the last stand, but if you're going into the DZ and want to be highly competitive with all the other builds, such as the high end, the striker, and everything else, then this is one of the ones I would recommend. So without further ado, let's jump right on into this set. As you can see, 4-piece Banshee, Specialized Savage. On my chest piece, good armor roll, which is a little higher. Major attributes, 15,087 health, which, as we all know now, that's equivalent to 1k base stamina into your overall health pool. And then I have 4% resistance and 52% ammo capacity. And in my martial arts, 261 stamina in both and 3217 in health in both. And my mask, as you can see, crit chance, blind death resistance. I prefer that being shock resistance, but blind and death will be adequate for this situation and for majority of the situations. Decent stamina roll. I think it was around 1243, so not quite my market 1250, but it'll do. And in my mod slot, I have 261 health and 3117 health. And I think by now you're kind of getting the overall picture of what I was thinking when I made this build. But moving on to the knee pads, 1269 in armor, great firearms roll. Major attributes, as you can guess it, 15,770 in health, shock resistance, disorient resistance, and blind death resistance. No surprise, specialized backpack. Rolled on firearms, 12,611 in health. Hopefully the RNG gods are better because I rolled it like 10 times and couldn't get nothing over this. But it also has ammo capacity in its minor attributes slot. Moving on to the Savage gloves, 7% against targets out of cover, so that meshes well with the whole LMG out of cover and also the Banshee out of cover bonus. 907 SMG damage, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. Now, I prefer the SMG damage be LMG damage during the situation, but I had like electronics on this piece and had to re-roll for the firearms, so that is why that is. Moving on to the holster, decent stats across the board, 1252 firearms, 1258 stamina, 1251 electronics, and I opted in for the extra additional health, but you can go with skill haste here. You can even go with reload speed, especially since you'll be utilizing an LMG. And I'll get to the LMG aspect on the one that I'm using and the reasons why I'm using the one that I'm using coming up. So basically, as you can see, firearms, 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 one stamina, and reason why that one stamina is there, so that way I can unlock all the talents on the weapons that I chose to use, and then I pretty much stacked everything else into firearms. Always going to my go-to gun, the MP5 ST with Vicious, Deadly, and Unforgiving. Like I said, you can easily switch it out. I do also have an MP7 ST down here with Responsive, Deadly, and Vicious. So it's a toss-up between these two MP5 STs. So more or less, I'll probably be running the other instead of this one. But I'm going to be consistently trying things out. And also you see the Hilder right here, and it has responsive, self-preserved, and deadly. That's the one that I bought out of the base of operations. Now, moving on to the secondary, I know most of y'all prefer the Hungry Hog, but as far as it being a belt fed, and the Pecan is more along the lines of an assault rifle as far as when it comes to reloading. So that's why I chose the Pecan. And it has deadly, unforgiving, and also the Pecan talent. Each kill makes the next round have 20% extra bullets compared to its base. And in its mod slots, I have 111 magazine size, 2.5% crit hit chance, and 4.7 rate of fire. And my optics, too bad do not have the more or less the trifecta. I got crit hit chance, headshot damage, and stability. And on my suppressor, I do have the trinity of headshot damage, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. Now, the Hungry Hog is definitely a beast, but when it comes to the reload time of that Hungry Hog, those few moments are very crucial. Now, this build, you can simply interchange different things. You can go with the Barrett-proof vest, and then go with, a Banshee backpack. But we all know Specialized helps out. So right now, my skill power would only be around 90k. So that extra 20k gives a little bit more meat on the bone, a little bit more bite to when it comes to my heals. But as you can see, even at 7268, my toughness is very significant at 364.6, so I'm a little on the tanky side, but I can dish out a heck of a lot of damage, boys. Because as we know, the 4-piece, mainly the 3-piece, 10% damage to targets out of cover. We all know how the PvP situation is in the DZ. There's not too much of a cover-based thing. It's more or less face tanking or flopping around. And for those that like to hip fire, just circling and hip firing. So if I ever did have to perform hip fire, I feel the bullet spread is much more viable and better on the Pecan than it would be on the Hungry Hog. So that is my line of thinking right here. So as you can see, I put health on everything that I could, so that way it makes me tanky, but yet I put out a significant enough damage. Don't let these numbers fool you, because it hasn't calculated in the out of cover damage bonus. And since I get the bonus on the LMGs of 12% accompanied with the bonus for the Banshee, so that's a 22% increase in damage when it comes to targets out of cover. Thought I had a frog stuck in my throat. So as you can see, I'm hitting for 24.8, almost 25k damage, which is very, very nice on targets that are out of cover. And also my critting is very, very good as well at 39. Then headshot damage is spectacular, over 70k. Critting without crits, 55k. So overall, very, very, very nice build. So do not take this build into the DZ. You can still get the out of cover bonus, but its main aspects and where it shines through is when it's going rogue hunting or being a rogue in the DZ. You get that additional bonus along with that 24% out of cover damage. So if you're a rogue or a non-rogue facing on another, while rogue, all ammo is completely refilled every 30 seconds. Damage taken from non-rogue players reduced by 10%, while not rogue, damage to rogue players increased by 10%. So add on another 10% to that. Say you like hunting rogues and want to stack up on those leaderboards that are currently out there for killing those manhunts. Let's say they're running or they're out of cover. They're not utilizing cover. So let's stack all that up. So you got 10% from that. Then you got a 13% from the out of base, from the LMG. So that's a total of 23. And then you get an additional 10 off that for targets out of cover. So that's 33% extra bonus damage for targets that are out of cover. And if you are a rogue or non-rogue and you're facing rogues or non-rogues, then you extra get that 10%. So that's what makes this build so viable. Now, I opted in as in health on everything as far as my backpack, my knee pads, anything that I can get my hands on, because it makes this build a little more on the tanky side, but able to dish out a lot of damage. And my skill power at 108, I'll be dishing out more than I take in. But when I take in, I still have significant enough health coming back into my health pool due to all the 3% increase. Well, actually, it's 6% first aid self heal. So that's a 30% buff on that. So that gives me a significant enough heals, and my survivability is forever increased. But shout out to Tim the Toolmentator. Go check out his YouTube channel. He's on hiatus right now. He's trying to get it back up and running. He's my homeboy, and we plan on running the DZ quite a lot. Also, along with Reggie Merck, be sure to check him out. And there'll be gameplay videos coming very, very soon. We actually like to farm players versus farming other things, caches, supply drops. But if a supply drop drops, then that's guaranteed. You're going to engage somebody that's going to be there, whether they're on the way there and you've got it and you're leaving, you're going to engage them, and vice versa. So this plays a big part and is one of the top tier builds to use inside of the Dark Zone. Not the Last Stand, but in the Dark Zone. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked this generalization of a build. Like I said, you can opt out for several different things. You can go with Reckless. You can go with Barrett's. You could also introduce a Banshee backpack, Banshee gloves, and substitute it for Tenacious Mask, since Tenacious Mask gives you another 10% for 10 seconds just for popping a med kit. So that will also increase your damage. Or you can go Tenacious and Savage, Reckless 8%, then another 10%, and then we're looking at a total, of a buku amount of base flat damage for targets out of cover, and for what effects you get off your Tenacious Mask and a Barrett's chest piece, or even Reckless chest piece. So this is my interpretation and my generalization on how I would run this build. By no means is it min max, but it is just a general idea of how I would build this build that I plan on using when running the DZ. If you prefer the Hungry Hog, go get the Hungry Hog. Just in my preference, I'd rather have an AR than an LMG, and the Bakan best resembles an AR over an LMG. So I hope you liked the video. I appreciate you guys all support. If you don't mind, the thumbs up are very much appreciated. Leave comments in the comments section below on what builds you would like to see next. And just with any builds that you're trying out there at home, do a mental checklist on what kind of player that you are, whether it be support, balanced, or DPS. And then you want to modify your weapons and your guns and your talents, as well as your gear sets, to best complement of your playstyle. So all these things are fluid and can be changed to fit your playstyle. This is just how I would play this playstyle, because I could easily substitute all those healths in those mods and replace them for skill haste, and then add skill haste on to my holster instead of the health, and that would decrease my skill cooldown, so that way I would get my cooldowns faster. But thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more build videos, and I look forward into your comments on this vid. And we got, on my last one, I believe 41 likes on my striker build, the Destroyer. Hopefully we can at least shoot to 30 or 40. All thumbs up are appreciated, and do not forget of the 1K sub giveaway of a console of your choice between the PS4 Pro and the Xbox S. So thank you guys.
I got broads in Atlanta, just to the lean the family, credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks in the van.